What's good with it in the hood with it? Welcome back to the collective clips where you already know the gun's about to get it in, right? But before I get it in, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Ding. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun is kicking. And I highly appreciate you, brother. What's up, Woods, right? You guys ready to get into another Superwood? You got your meth, brother? Get it, brother. If you ain't got it, get it. If you get it, got it, right? Let me tell you something right here. This is not a roach wood. This is a Lanny wood, right? Literally was his last name, right? He was just vicious with it. And he once told us a story, right? And in fact, I could verify this story. He removed a monster on the level 4 yard, straight up, right? And at first I said, I bullshit. I call bullshit. And then he pulled out a big ass fierro. He says, you want to be part 2? I said, no shit. And they thought that was crazy, right? So if you guys tapped into the last, we got a new Peckerwood, a new Superwood, brother, right? On the scene, man. It's my boy that I grew up with. And like I said, it's just something about those woods that weren't woods when they got in there and then they became woods and got out and were super woods, right? He was one of them guys, you know, Mexican old lady, Mexican children, you know, like Roach. He had a black kind of brother, right? And that's just how that was. But anyways, so this guy was out, the homeboy was out, and he was running amok. He was in town tearing shit up. He brought all kinds of crazy skins and woods from out of town, man, and they had a little crew. They were laying people down. So he ends up getting caught up on a robbery. And he caught a robbery in a little fucking town called Hillmar. Okay, and it's right outside of Merced, Livingston area, Merced County, right? Cheese. It's known for the cheese. So he gets caught up in Hillmar, cheese fucking area. And whatever, he gets locked up. So his brother, who's a homeboy, is in Norteño. I'm like, hey, what's up with your bro? I haven't seen him in a minute. He's like, oh, that fool's in county. He's finding a fucking big ass case right now. They were tying people up and fucking stealing all their cheese and shit. And I was like, damn, that's what's up, brother, right? He ends up catching like 6 years off of that. So time passes. And it's like 6 years later. And I remember it was a big case. He caught 6. And I tell his brother, like, hey, whatever happened? You know, I do a prison term, come out. I'm back on the scene. I'm like, damn, your brother's still locked up? Like, what the fuck happened? He said, oh, that fool did a removal in prison. I said, what happened? He said, man, I said, this is not the movie fucking Shot Caller, right? Just stay on him, Wood. Just stay on him. He's a fucking monster, brother. You better be with me. It wasn't one of those, but it really was. So what had happened was this, right? I guess he did a removal and he picked up a few more years and he actually went to the shoe. He did a shoe term. And so I'm like, okay, typical Wood actions. You know, that's what they do. So trip out on this. He gets out. He ends up getting out, and I run into, we have a homeboy that he's a big-time Norteño, man. He caught a big-ass Fed case back in the days. They found $1 million in his wall, right, in his mother's wall at her pad. Back in the days, that's when $1 million was a lot. Nowadays, $1 million ain't shit. You know, you invest that shit in XRP. But this is back when $1 million was something big, right? And so all the homeboys looked up to this dude. He did his Fed thing. He got out. And meanwhile, the homeboy's still locked up. Superwood, right? He's still doing time, brother. You know, he did a shoot term. He went back to the yard, whatever. So he gets out and he actually pulls up right there where we're at. We're all kicking back. And I'm like, look at who it is. It's the brother. He's already on meth. Already. He hasn't been out but 3-4 hours. And he's already he got a good fucking 16th of prop in him, right? So he pulls up. He's all wild haired. He's fucking looking crazy. He has a big ass Fu Manchu, just nuts. I'm like, what happened, bro? Where were you? Prison, brother. The fuck you think I would be? You know, I wasn't at your mom's house. I'm like, what? He was like, no, I didn't see. That's what I said. I wasn't at your mom's house. I was in prison. No disrespect, brother, right? So I'm like, all right, brother. So he's kicking back, and the homeboy's like, damn, bro, I did a Fed case. The homeboy's been locked up. Like, you were down for like 15 years. He's like, just about, brother. I'm like, damn, what happened? Like, fuck, they give you that much for fucking robbing in Hillmar? He's like, no, brother, we fucking had to put some tips on somebody. And I was like, well, what happened? Because, you know, I've done removals in the past. I've been involved in a couple of them in the county jail. I did one in Corcoran. I did one on another yard, right? And I know how the Norteño get down is. You know, whack a motherfucker, get off on him. You know what I'm saying? One hitter, 2 bombers, and a retriever. Boom, there's the squad. So I always wondered how the Woods did it. Because I would hear the crazy Roach stories. Brother, we was in there kicking ass, brother. But he never broke it down like, I don't speak on politics, brother. No, you're not. You're light-skinned, but you're not white enough, brother. right? So he wouldn't go the white way and tell me. And that's white man's business. But the other homeboy, he's so sconted out, he's going to tell it all. He don't give a fuck. Because he's the type of homeboy, he'll just cut your throat if he thinks you're going to tell on him. Real life. So he's there all met down. He's looking at the homeboy. Looking at the homeboy's house. The homeboy's like, hey, what you looking at, bro? He was like, I wasn't looking at your TV, bro. Right? So he's sitting there. We're all kicking back. We're in the living room. They're smoking weed, right? They're trying to calm his nerves because this motherfucker's what you call apprehensive, right? He's very intense at this point. So I'm like, what happened, bro? Explain it to me. So here's the story about the removal they did. So there was a guy that came on the yard, and he was claiming that he was part of the white faction, the organization, the AB, right? He was claiming that he was running yards in other states, and this guy was from out of state, okay? And he had came on an interstate compact. So that means that he was transferred from out of state to California. Now, usually that doesn't happen. Usually people are transferred from California out of state. You rarely see dudes come from out of state unless like they picked up a case over there and they had to do their time and then they have charges over here, shit like that. But even then, if the guy, it won't go from prison to prison. Usually what happens is he goes from that prison to the county jail, gets his fucking time, voila. Now you're on the yacht of that, right? But this guy came and so he's claiming that he's a fucking AB from this and that. And he went out to out of state, caught time, and now he's back and he has more time to spend. I mean, his story didn't add up. And the Woods, they'll be on their coffee. So they're high alerted, right? So they automatically tap into the back and figure out that this guy's an imposter, but he's a fucking monster. He's a big ass dude. So the homeboy's like, man, the yard where we're at, it was ran by Skins. There was some Woods there. There was a group there at the time. They were going at it with like, I think they were called the American Skins or something like that. He says, we were removing them off the yard. Like every time they would come on the yard, we would get off on them. There was some shit going on with the Woods and them. And this guy came on the yard and immediately was like, hey, I need to be a key holder, brother. I need to fucking do all that. He was like trying to be in. And the guy who was running the yard was like, nah, we're going to keep this guy, feed him with the fucking long handled spoon because there's something ain't right about him. And again, man, I would have been the same way. Like, how the fuck did you go from that prison to this prison? Like, what'd you do over there? Who'd you tell on over there to get over here? There's something ain't right. And this guy didn't have his C file. He's talking about it's going to catch up, brother. So he has like a few days to get in, get his shit together. So the homeboy said the yard they were on, because so many dudes were going out of the Woods within their own, there was like the llavero, basically the guy who had the key holder, and a few other dudes. They were probably like about 15 Woods on this yard and Skins. They weren't that deep because they were having conflict within themselves. And most of the dudes they had already got off were the hitters, like the main dudes that are fucking with the business. So he's like, it's just me, bro. I said, well, I thought you were I am with the fucking business, brother. But I just wasn't with, I don't like beating up my own people, right? But anyways, so we beat up one of our own people right here. Anyways, listen to the fucking story. So the story goes like this. The fucking dude is on the yard. They're telling him, hey, you need your fucking 128G, Wes Watson style, right? He should have had it up his asshole like Wes. He'd have been all right, right? Or he should have just had his initials right here and everybody would have just let him run the yard. He'd have been the shot caller in no time. So anyways, they're not tripping off really him transferring because I guess he has a good story. You know, like, hey, I was actually doing time in California. They transferred me out there. I had to fucking fight a case out there. Now I'm back over here. Whatever. He told him, right? Whatever meth he was on, he was babbling. So they're not tripping off that. They're tripping off the fact that he's claiming to be one of the fellas, one of the big guys, right? And he has no ink to indicate that, but he could be, you know, someone that did get inked up. Just because you don't have the ink to indicate the organization you're from, there's a lot of dudes that don't. You know, there's a lot of dudes that try to fly under the radar. Hey, take it easy on your ink, brother. You know what I mean? That's how we rock them into sleep. You guys all seen Shot Caller. The Beast told them. You know what I mean? Hey, so the question is, are you ready, brother? Right? I am. Right? Okay, we're going to kill your whole fucking family, brother. You know what I mean? It went from that to that. Remember, it went from Beast recruiting, oh boy, to, hey, I got a book for you. It's called The Human Animal. Yeah, you got the keys to this yard now. I'm going to get you sealed up so you can get some privacy. This, and that. The next one, he's getting a phone like, do you want to see your fucking wife and son in a puddle of fucking blood, brother? Right? It was crazy. Woods went off the hook on that one. So anyways, they're questioning this dude. Anyways, they write the back. They get a hold of Pelican Bay, and they come to find out that this guy was put up for a vote, was denied the vote, and actually fucking was from out of state. So he was somebody, but he wasn't that somebody, right? So that means he immediately gets to get removed off the yard because he's claiming to be someone he's not. So now it's up to the homeboy. He's like the biggest dude. And let me explain to you about Superwood, the new Superwood, right? He's thin, muscular, but not okay. He ain't Wes Watsonish. Okay, not at all, not even close. He's not built. He's just a thin, chopped up, fucking good old wood, brother, right? Long, scraggly hair, like I said, Fu Manchu. I never had the Fu Manchu. I fucking bought the gun out with the Fu Manchu like it was supposed to scare someone. If my homeboy said, "Hey, bro, we don't allow about the Fu Manchus in our fucking backyard, bro. Cut that shit before you go in the backyard. We don't want fucking hair everywhere. We don't want white man hair everywhere, right?" So, anyways, he ended up cutting that shit because his old lady was like, "I ain't trying to fuck Hulk Hogan," right? So, anyways, the vato tells us, so this is how it went down. Him and 3 other guys are gonna have to get on this guy, okay? And they want this guy poked. They don't want this guy to leave that motherfucking yard breathing. Okay, and that's just the way it is, and that's how prison is. A level 4 yard, it's all weaponry, it's all pieces. There is no razor blades, no none of that shit. I mean, people keep them on them just in case, but I've been on yards, Corcoran Yard, level 4, man. It's serious business. It's a fucking, you feel it in your bones, right? When someone gets blasted, I've seen people's bones get broke with a piece. I've seen pieces shatter from the bone. Like, it's crazy. It's just, you can't explain it. You can't explain the feeling putting a knife in someone. It's unexplainable unless you do it. I don't recommend you do it, but if you have to, you'll see what I'm saying. So anyways, he's going to be a hitter, right? He's going to have the piece. He's like, I'm ready to fucking do something, brother. And he's thinking about his kids. He's thinking about his old lady. And he tells me he had never done a removal up to this point. He was just a regular wood. Now, mind you, I told you guys, he hung around with Northerners. He hung around with Mexicans all the time. His old lady was Mexican. His kids were Mexican, half Mexican, right? But since county jail, he chose to go with his people. I get it. It's what you're supposed to do. But he's not that type of wood, brother. But now he is, right? So anyways, he's like, it's his time. It's everyone's time. So he's going to blast this dude. This is what happens, right? So he says they're going to wait till after chow. They're going to go to the yard, right? And when they go to yard, this is when they're going to get off on him, right? And I was like, questioning the story, I was like, wait, you guys got evening yard on a level 4 yard? Like, we don't, like everyone, they have A1A status? I thought everybody's like A2B. Like, what's going on here? Right? To what degree of fucking yard were you on? He's like, no, brother, we went in the building. We got our sack lunches, brother. We're going to eat our sack lunches. We're going to go out there, back out to yard. We're going to blast them, afternoon yard recall. We're going to get them. Which the story sounded feasible because yard recall is usually when everyone gets off wood, right? Especially the woods. So I expected this to be a bloody story, and it was. Only not the type of story you guys are picturing in your mind. So anyways, they go out to the yard. Now he has these 3 youngsters with him, and these 3 youngsters, they're scared. He said one of them was with the business. The other 2, they're like, brother, we don't, Tony Hawk. You know, they type of woods that get out there in the yard like,
hey, brother, I listen to Mac Dre, bro. I don't, bro, don't touch me there. Don't touch me there, bro. Credit check, right?
Those type of woods, you know, the woods that just got in where they fit in, they're with the shit. They'll do what they got to do, but they've never done that shit before. And the homie, he's trying to act all tough. This Merced, you don't understand. We're good woods up there. I don't know what the fuck I'm thinking. Right? And so what happened is these 2 youngsters are going to go. They're going to blast. They're going to blast them. The homie's going to come in and start hitting them. So as these 2 youngsters go, they run. Our yard recall. Everyone's walking in. The good old fellas, right? The good woods. They're walking ahead because they don't want to be part of the shenanigans. You get put on someone, everyone else is going that way, right? Unless it kicks off, but it's not going to kick off. It's just a removal. And so as this youngster blasts this dude, it doesn't even affect him. Now that's alerted him. He turns around, he grabs the other youngster and picks him up and slams him. And he's on the ground trying to fucking get off. And this other youngster's trying to fight. Well, him and the other dude are both hitters. They got pieces, right? There's 4 of them. And the homeboys blast him. Boom, boom. And the other youngster's trying to blast him and drops the fucking piece. And the monster gets the piece and starts blasting the dude who he's on, right? So it's like, it looks like fucking the Human Centipede, Master Blaster. Everyone's blasting each other, right? And the homeboy, that dude's smart. That dude goes like that, bam, and hits the homeboy right here, right in his face, and rips his whole cheek. And so it was actually down here, right? And hit him. That's why the homeboy had the big old rocha, the Fu Manchu, why he grew it out, because he covered the scar that he had. And so there's blood everywhere. So they're not, this dude is weak. This dude is fucking too big. The homeboy said, I'm blasting the shit out of him, but he keeps moving because he's fucking in the mix. I can't hit him the way where I'm supposed to hit him, right? Cops come, boom, they start shooting. Everyone goes down, right? So they go to the hole. This dude gets taken to the medical facility. From there, he gets put in a hole. He's fucking away from them. He's gone, right? He's going to go SNY or wherever. They're probably going to ship his ass back out of state. And all the other good woods, brother, on the yard, they're like, that wasn't cool, brother. That was not cool, right? So now the homeboy just did a removal, but now he's in question. It's questionable because didn't go down. That dude was not supposed to. Hey, he was supposed to get hit like I got fucking hit, but he wasn't supposed to be breathing. Many men wish that upon G. Right? And that's just how that was supposed to go. But what happens is, so the homeboy goes back to the hole. He's on the yard and he has to explain himself. He has to explain what happened. Now, the three youngsters, they fell off immediately. As soon as they got a DA referral, they fell off. Done. They're telling it's all the homeboy. He was the only one with the piece. He was with the piece. The other dude had a fucking piece. No youngsters had the piece, right? One of them's willing to testify against the homie, so the homie ended up taking a fucking deal. So this is what happens. He gets to a yard, right? He does his shoot term. He's still solid. He's still good. The woods ain't tripping. They keep telling him, hey, we're not tripping. You did the best you could. These other dudes are cowards. They snitched. If we see them, you know what it is. They're not going to see them though, right? The Vatos on the SNY, they're part of the BBC crowd with a whole bunch of stars on their face talking about, I'm a wood brother. And they're over there playing fucking hacky sack with brothers, right? Black dudes. So anyways, he's like, fuck it, I'm going to stay solid. Does his time. He fights a validation. They try to validate him. He fights it. He beats it. He gets out, right? Gets out of the hole. And now he picked up a term. While he was in the shoe, he was doing a shoe term. He gets out of the hole. He picks up a case. He goes back and forth to court. The dude, like I said, was willing to testify. So he takes a deal for like 7 or 8 years, right? That's on top of the time he was doing. That's why he ended up doing 15. He ends up doing another removal. I'll tell you about that later. But the homeboy had it bad. He was just a good old wood that had it bad. And so this is what happens. So he ends up going on the yard and he has some cleanups, right? They're like, hey, you're going to have to do the next one. So he does this one smooth, whatever. They get a dude off the yard. He ends up going to the hole. But while he does that, while he's in the hole, he finds out that he has some type of disease. I forgot what it was. Something only white men get, right? No, it wasn't sickle cell anemia, right? It was some Viking shit that he got. And so he's always going to the medical facility. Well, he moved prisons, okay? So as he's going to this medical facility, he sees the monster being transported. The dude who he hit initially, the one he caught the time for, right? And the monster fucking sees him they see him passing, I guess, because the cops think they're just white men, that it's all good. And the monster fucking takes off. He has a cuff key and he uncuffs him and he fucks the homeboy. He got his runbacks, right? He said the homeboy was like, I was like this, brother. God, I'll never do meth again. God, I'll never do it, right? He was getting fucked up. And they pulled him off, and that was it, man. He says to this day, every time he's locked up, all the fellas, all the woods, right? They're always like, hey, brother, you got beat up by the monster. Cuckooey, right? Mellow. And they always scare him. And hey, that's just how woods are. Anyways, that dude's solid, man. He got out and he couldn't stay out of jail. I'd see him every time I went to jail. He was in jail. What you in here for, Lanny? Stealing copper wire, brother. It wasn't me. Yeah, I bet it wasn't, right? You got copper residue all over your hands. Oh, brother, I'm a pipe fitter, right? Yeah, whatever you can fit in the pipe, huh? Exactly, brother. You know what I mean? Right now I could fit a ball. You know what I mean? That's just how he was. Anyways, the guy's crazy. Like I said, he did that removal and then he got removed. And then, well, later on, we'll talk about that. Right? I see, he's one of the only dudes that I know that got removed and got brought back. I don't know how that happens. Usually the white men don't get down like that. Once you're gone, you're fucking gone. But that just is what it is. Anyways, man, I'm going to continue these Superwood stories. I got a story tomorrow. Roach. Wait till Roach met this guy. These dudes were on coffee. You know what I mean? A whole different type of coffee. You guys already know what it is. With that being said, man, if you guys like these Superwood stories, hit a 1. Let's keep them going. I'm going to make them happen, man. And it's all true. Shit like that goes down on the yard all the time. I seen these whites, man. I told a story before. And I could tell you guys because dude's already got convicted. He's locked up doing life. But I was sitting at a table. I was out of state, right? And I was sitting at these tables. And what they would do is they would feed us in the day room. It was like a day room area. They had our tables. So they would bring these big old fucking carts with our food. It was kind of like county jail shit, but it was prison. And we're all sitting to eat. We all had our assigned tables. Like, not assigned, like we got our own tables. So I'm sitting with the Northerners. And we sat with the blacks and then the whites were a little bit separated, but not much. And these good woods, brother, they're eating. And they had like a milk. So you would get your tray and you had these plastic cups and you would go up and you'd get milk. Like it was like a bag full of milk and there was like a little thin nozzle stuck out. And it was in, they put it in like a machine. You'd press the button, milk would come out, and you were allowed to drink as much milk as you want. And people that work out in prison, that's what they drink, a lot of milk, right? So the Woods always drank a gang of milk because they were always pushing, working out. Some big old Woods in there, brother, right? And so it's breakfast time and it's early. People got lagañas in their eyes. You got to be aware though, you know? And they gave us these little bowls of cereal. So everyone's taking their cereal up, putting milk in it, and then going back to their seat or getting their glass of milk for their coffee or whatever, right? And me and the homeboy just got back from getting our little milk and our fucking Fruit Loops. So we're eating. And everyone loves when they give you cereal for free. You can buy it on commissary, but they love it. And we're eating. And for some reason, the Woods are sitting right next to us. Like, we got blacks on the sides, but they're like, we're on the linea where it separates because the South Siders sat on the other side of them, right? And at this time, man, it was kind of it was like not a fucking soft defensive stance with South Siders, but it's like, we're not rushing each other. We're not removing each other off on site, right? They stay on their side, we stay on our side. It was all good. We didn't even talk to each other really. So as we're eating, for some reason, this white guy catches my attention. Just my awareness is up, just the way he's moving, his movements, right? So I kind of look at him, and this guy gets up, and people are getting up constantly to get milk, but everyone shows respect. If you see a white dude get up there, let the whites do it, brother. And then the blacks would go Mexican. Oh, you know, it is what it is. You're not gonna see a black dude and a white dude trying to fucking fight for the milk. It ain't gonna happen. And this one guy's eating. He's eating his food, and I watched this white dude get up, did one of these moves. He had his cup. He set his cup down. He just walked right around like it was nothing around his homeboy. Picked his head up, picked his cup up, went and filled up his milk, and that was that. And dude just left him there. All the other Woods got up and walked away, turning their train. They just left, and they were, man down, brother. It was crazy. They ended up catching, boy, he got caught up, but he was nuts. That's what I'm saying. The Woods don't play. Anyways, with that being said, thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to tell a fucking Wood story if I want to tell a Wood story, brother. Shout out to all the Woods out there, man, the skinheads and everyone, man. You guys already know what it is. We're going to keep doing what we does. This is the gun. Bang, bang.